What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video we are going to be discussing the top 20 or 20 of the top fighters that you need to invest in 2025 and beyond. These fighters are on the come up, or they're young fighters. These are just anyone who I see a future in, or I see potential that they haven't achieved yet, that you should put your stock in, that you should tell your casual friends about whenever you go around and have the barbecue and watch the pay-per-view with your mates and they don't know anything about the sport. These are the guys who you tell the casuals about to get them in the know. You know, if you don't know, now you know. Let me tell you, kid, this guy's badass. That's what you Dana White Max and tell all your casual friends to support and glaze these fighters, and that's what you should be doing as well. So yeah, we got 2 per division and then a few others as well. Minimum of 2 per division though. So yeah, if you find some of these less or more, I would say less convincing than others, it's just because I needed to fill 2 spots per division. But without further ado, let's get into it, and we'll start off with the Flyweight division. And the number 1 selection for me at Flyweight is Joshua Van. Let me tell about this kid, Josh Van. Kid is badass. Josh Van, if you don't know who he is somehow, if you don't know now, you know. Kid's got a fucking 85%, 80% takedown defense. He's stuffed 17 out of 21 of Ray Saruya's takedowns. And let me tell you, Ray Saruya was not shooting bad takedowns. Ray Saruya was shooting good entries, clean entries, and Ray Saruya is a guy with actual pretty nasty grappling. And Josh Van stuffed pretty much all of his takedowns. Josh Van, before this fight, going into this fight, he was number 1 for strikes landed per minute with 8.88. And despite basically being given no chance to strike on the feet because Saruya just kept spamming takedowns, he was still able to keep that average above 8, and he's still the number 1 fighter in UFC history for strikes landed per minute in over 5 UFC fights. Crazy stuff for Joshua Van. I really do think his future is bright. I think he can beat top 5 guys. I think he can beat top 10 guys right now, and I think he's not far away from being able to beat top 5 guys. I said I think he beats Amir Albazi. I stand by that. I think Joshua Van is legit. But anyway, let's move on to the next guy. I've got 20 people, so I'm going to try and move through these guys pretty quickly. But you guys know how I feel about Josh Van. Anyway, next guy, Lona Kavanagh. This dude's pretty solid. Now, look, he's fighting next weekend against Felipe dos Santos, so we'll see a little bit more from Mr. Lona Kavanagh. He looked good on Contender Series, got a nasty KO, and even in this fight on that Yan versus Figueiredo UFC Macau Fight Night card in November last year, while he didn't get a finish, he still looked good. He looked composed. He looked technical. And I rate that. He's 25, I believe, turning 26 this year. Young, got a future. Flyweight, definitely. I'm going to do a video ranking the divisions based on like which division has the best to worst future. Flyweight is up there. I have a lot of hope and a lot of excitement for the future of Flyweight. But yeah, Lona Kavanagh's real good. He's technical. He's got some pop. He mixes it up. He's got nice kicks, good striking. So keep an eye on Lona Kavanagh, and I'm picking him to beat Felipe dos Santos in a few weeks' time. Next up, though, back up to the Bantamweight division, and the first person I've gone with is Jin Matsumoto. Now, yes, he did lose to Robert Font just a few weeks ago at UFC Seattle, but that fight was real close, and if the judges that gave Uncle Live the win was scoring that fight, Matsumoto would have won. Let me tell you, kid. No, okay, chill. I'm not going to go that far with it. It's a very different fight. But, no, Matsumoto, look, many people thought he won. I still thought Font won on damage. I'm not going to complain. I picked Matsumoto to win. I rated his grappling pretty high. But again, this kid's young. He's 25. I'm calling him a kid. I'm 18. But no, I'm doing the Dana White thing. Kid's a good fighter. Great fighter. Yeah, we see a lot of promise with him. That's a guy that we're talking about every day in the war room. But yeah, Jin Matsumoto, he's good. Good grappling, good striking. No, striking needs some work, I should say, but he's got promise. He's young, he's improving, and already looking that good and having that close of a fight, showing toughness against Rob Font. You know, Adrian Yanez got chinned in round 1 by Rob Font. Jin Matsumoto pushed the pace at the end of the 3rd and actually gave him a tough fight on short notice. Anyway, let's move on to the next fighter, and we got Felipe Lima, another Brazilian. This is not just because he's Brazilian. I do like Brazilian fighters, but no, Felipe Lima is actually really good. Now, you probably are thinking, oh, his last 2 fights have been at featherweight. There's a reason for that. His debut against Muhammad Naimov, who's really good and basically hasn't lost apart from Who did he lose to? I think that's it. Has he lost to anyone? I'm pretty sure Naimov was like undefeated in the UFC. Maybe I'm bugging, but Naimov's been real good before that fight, and he got subbed by Felipe Lima. And then Felipe Lima's other fight with Miles Johns was a semi-short notice fight, which they just made at featherweight just cause. But he's going to go back to bantamweight, I imagine, and he'll look good there. He'll look well-sized for that division, and he's good. His striking's great, his grappling's great, subbing Muhammad Naimov's impressive. So yeah, keep an eye out on Felipe Lima, because this kid is on the rise, and he's young too. I think he's like 26 as well. Anyway, let's move on, and we'll go up to the featherweight division. So, featherweight, also Vinicius Oliveira is another guy who can be mentioned at bantamweight, but he's already like on the radar heavily, I think, after that Saeed fight. But he's another guy. I want to try and give a spotlight to the slightly lesser known guys, but Vinicius Oliveira is another guy. Anyway, featherweight, Jean Silva. Now, I know some people weren't a big fan of his antics at the press conference. I know there's some people that are supporting Bryce Mitchell. Of course, I'm not against that memo, but just look at the man's fights. Look, we gotta hope that he's not all the way fucking paid for by Israel. You know, that would be unfortunate. I overall think he just sees a bunch of people hate Bryce Mitchell and is like, let me jump on that. I'll try and get fan support from hating Bryce Mitchell. I think someone needs to go pull him aside and just be like, yo, Gene, I know they were booing him at the press conference. There's a lot of guys that like Bryce Mitchell. You should probably don't go as hard on the Bryce Mitchell hate. You know, you'll lose some fans. But no, Jean Silva, I love his fighting, and I love the autism as well. I know some people think the barking's cringe. It can get a bit annoying at times, but no, fuck it. I allow it. This dude's just off his absolute head. Incredible stuff, Jean Silva. Need to get around him again. This is sort of cheating. Again, I'm saying I didn't include Vinicius Oliveira because not as many people, because people already know him. People already know Jean Silva, but like still. Invest in this guy while he's unranked. You know, this is buying, as Moicano would say, this is Bitcoin, my brother. Let me tell you something. You get this 65k. Like, you get it when it dips, you know. Jean Silva didn't even dip, but like, you get it when it's outside the rankings before everyone started, before everyone is starting. Like, there's still some doubters, or there's still some like, oh, he might get fraud checked by Bryce Mitchell. No, this is where you stand on business early and say he's going to dominate and KO Bryce Mitchell, and you look like a genius when it happens. So yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next guy at featherweight, and it is Kevin Vallejos. Now, Kevin Vallejos fighting this weekend. Hasn't even fought in the UFC yet, but I'm still putting him on here. This is an early investment. This is getting This is like getting Bitcoin at like when one of those YouTube videos that you saw from 2012, when the guy's like, just please buy $1 worth of Bitcoin. Like, this is the type of shit you're getting right now. You're getting Kevin Vallejos at a low price, at a low like vast support. Not as many people know him. The casual fans ain't fucking watching Contender Series. But let me tell you, this kid is going to be an absolute superstar. Kevin Vallejos, he's already fought Jean Silva, and he's the most recent guy to take Jean to a decision. He actually gave him a tough fight, won the first round off him, was doing solid in the second. Got caught a little bit, got beaten up, but still hung in there and was landing good shots on Jean Silva, right? Given probably his toughest fight in a while. Yes, he's got losses, but still, we don't care about those. But Kevin Vallejos is real good. He fought on Contender Series against some fucking crackhead looking dude, with some white dude with an afro. Not sure what was going on there, but he fought Cam Teague, who's a bit of a bum, but not bum record. He might be a bum of a fighter, but like 8-1 guy. That was his first loss, actually. And yeah, Kevin Vallejos boxed him up and finished him early. He's gonna KO Sungwoo Choi this weekend in the first, guarantee. You can lock that in. It's the bet of the week, you know. Round prop of the week, Kevin Vallejos, round 1 KO. But yeah, this kid is he's 22. Like, he's 22, and I think he was 21 at the time. Then he fought Jean Silva, and he's competitive, pushing a pace, scrapping, taking his best shots. Like, not getting put down. I think he got wobbled. He never got dropped, I believe. But El Chino, he's 23 right now. Did I say 22? He's 23. He turns 24 in December, so he's a pretty recent 23. And when he fought Jean Silva, it was September of 2023. So that was, let me think. What year was he born? He was born 2001, so he was 22 years of age. No, he was 21 years of age when he fought Jean Silva, and he gave him his toughest fight in the last, 5 years. So, Kevin Alejos going to be an absolute fucking superstar, let me tell you. Anyway, let's move on to the next guy, also at featherweight. Just quick mention, Gabriel Santos. Shout out to this guy. Beat Jack Jenkins, shut down the bedtime MMA Aussie random guy glaze hype for just dudes that can throw boxing combinations. Now, Kevin Alejos throws boxing combinations, but let me tell you, it's different. But no, he shut that shit down, shut down the random Aussie prospect glaze, and he whooped up Jack Jenkins on the feet after getting dropped early. He was beating him up, got dropped randomly, beat him up the rest of the fight, took him down, subbed him, easy win, and put Jack Jenkins in the hospital. So yeah, based good stuff from I'm sorry, no. Gabriel Santos, though, no, great win. I thought he already beat Lerone Murphy in his fucking debut, and I think most people do as well. Yes, he got KO'd by David Onama. He walked in like a retard. This kid's pretty young. He's in his 20s, later 20s, so not quite as young as a Vallejos or a Lima or a Matsumoto, but still, he's got promise. He's up and coming. And yeah, again, I think that KO was a bit of a one-off. His chin could be questionable, maybe, but when he's on, let me tell you, the grappling against Jenkins looked good. And even though I said Jenkins was overrated, that was more in terms of overrated, like he's going to lose to Santos. I still think Jenkins is solid. Jenkins was still having a tough fight with Chepe before he got injured. Tough, close fight with Jamal Emmers, which I thought he lost. But, Jenkins is still solid, and Santos, apart from one knockdown with a head kick, which he pretty much ate for the most part, almost subbed Jack Jenkins 20 seconds after that, and then still dominated the rest of the fight. So yeah, Gabriel Santos, keep an eye out on him. Let's move on though to the lightweight division, and we've got a few guys at lightweight. I'm going to start off, you know who it is, Joel Alvarez. Let me tell you about this kid. Maybe he's fighting BSD, maybe he's not. Apparently that might be cap. We'll see what happens. They should do that, though. And if it does happen, he's going to whoop up BSD and finish him in the first. If he fights anyone else, look, there's fights that are difficult for him, like a Fiziev would be difficult, but I truly believe he would beat Dan Hooker. And I don't think it's ridiculous to say that. I think he could beat... Look, I was saying Gaethje, but that was before this weekend. That was when I thought Gaethje's chin was cooked and he was just going to swing like a tard. I still think him and Gaethje's competitive. I still think he beats a Dariush comfortably. He'd whoop Dariush. He'd KO. I think he would KO or submit Mateusz Gamrot. I think this guy's really good. Now, he's not as young in his career. He just turned 32. So if you're going to get on the hype train, you need to get on now before they fast track him and he's already in the top 10. Then you can't jump on hype trains once they're in the top 10. For the most part, unless they're still really underrated and everyone says they're mid. No one's saying Alvarez is mid, but I'm saying if you're not on the Joel Alvarez hype train, you should be. We got more though. We got Ignacio Bahamondes, obviously coming off a win this weekend. We got I was talking about Bahamondes. Sorry, I've got more people to talk about, but Bahamondes looked great. Submissions are there. Striking's there, was looking great on the feet early against Turner, gets taken down a little bit, but just comfortable off his back, subs him. Keep an eye on Bahamondes, you know this. Mauricio Rufy, talk about him, sleeping Bobby Green, not King, Bobby Green, with that wheel kick, nasty. Again, some people are saying he's the worst of the fighting nerds. I mean, you got to say it, I guess, just ranking-wise, where they actually are in their careers, but it's kind of you can't say any of them are worse than the others. Because divisionally, they can all have success. Are you telling me you ain't picking Mauricio Rufy to beat Beneil Dariush? Are you telling me you think Dan Hooker walks through this guy? Because I don't think he does. If Dan Hooker's chin isn't at 100%, he gets KO'd by Rufy. Rufy's a better, more technical striker than Dan Hooker, and it's not crazy to say that. So anyone saying any of them considerably worse, I don't think that's genuine. I don't think it's genuine to say that Prates doesn't have a great chance of outstriking Shavkat on the feet. I don't think it's crazy to say that Gene Silva has a chance to fucking catch Volk. It's not, all of these guys can beat the dudes in the top 10 or top 5 of their division, with the right opponent, you know? Again, are all of them going to be champions? Probably not, just because that would be fucking insane if that happens. If these guys just go undefeated to the belt and all become champs, that's ridiculous. You have to, at that point, induct the gym into the Hall of Fame. Like, I know they've got their modern wing and their fight wing and all this shit, their pioneers wing. You got to need to have a gym wing. Because if the fighting nerds all go undefeated and every single one of these guys become champion, that's outrageous. Like, you need to induct the entire fucking country of Brazil into the Hall of Fame for that one. But, yeah, these guys, they're real good. Rufy's one of them. Again, less hype just because, like, obviously Braulio's gone to some decisions, but Silva and Prates has been finishing everyone. And then Rufy had that sort of, you can call it mid. I think it was still a good performance. It was basically a McGregor-Diaz 2 performance where he kind of just he put him down early. He was beating his ass. Clearly way better than James Lontop. And Lontop's just got a chin. Like, it is what it is. But yeah, Rufy's another guy. I've said Bahamondes. I've said Alvarez. Fares Ziam is another one that you need to keep an eye on. This guy's coming off wins over like Frevola and Mike Davis. Those are good fighters. Mike Davis is like a fringe top 25 dude. Mike Davis would probably fucking give a tough fight to Paddy Pimblett, just telling you that right now. But yeah, Mike Davis is good. Fares Ziam beat him pretty comfortably, 2-1 or 3-0. Probably 2-1. Another guy though, Ziam, he's leveled up. That KO for Vola, like, Ziam's got aura now. He's leveled up. He's no longer going to shitty decisions with Claudio Puelles. And then last up, we got Ludovic Klein. Klein's really good. Klein's, bro, he whooped Bahamondes and hurt him in the first round and almost finished him. Like, he's a very good fighter. Yes, he looked kind of mid against Roosevelt Roberts, but I can't ignore how good he looked against Thiago Moises and how good he looked against Ignacio Bahamondes. This dude's boxing is sick. He's real good. Again, lightweight's so good. I might do a video just on lightweight alone, just breaking down that whole division because it's sick. Anyway, let's move on to the welterweight division, and you already know who it is. Guys, let me tell you, kid. You got to invest in CP in 2025. It's badass. It's a worthy investment. It's a growing market. We're really trying to get into the CP market in 2025, let me tell you. Carlos Prates. This dude's badass. He's going to KO Jeff Neal or finish him with body shots. I think he's going to... I'm calling walk-off knee. He's going to repeat the... I'm calling like knee to the body hurts him bad. I think we'll finally see a Prates non-walk-off KO here. But I still think he finishes Jeff Neal with body shots. Or a right hand down the middle. But yeah, Prates is going to beat Jeff Neal. Again, he's a bit further on in this career. I think he's 31, turning 32 this year. So they're going to get behind him. I think they're going to push him up the rankings a bit. If he beats Jeff Neal, I'm telling you, they're going top 5 with him. Like, they're giving him... if he beats Jeff Neal and Leon Edwards loses to Sean Brady, they're doing Prates versus Leon Edwards. That will happen, and I do think he would KO Leon Edwards. And again, it's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous to say that. Like, it's not crazy to say that Prates can KO Leon. Like, maybe Leon grapples him. Maybe this dude's grappling sucks, but like, we haven't seen him look awful at grappling. Like, if you want to say he's going to get exposed somewhere, do what Bedtime does and say he was getting outboxed by Trevin Giles despite, you know, everyone looking mid in their debut, basically. And just say he's going to get outboxed. Like, just say his striking's good except his boxing defense sucks. Don't try and act like, don't be like, oh, he's going to get out-grappled and fraud-checked into grappling when we haven't seen it. Like, we haven't seen this dude look awful at grappling. We haven't seen him get taken down by some bombs. So, yeah, Prates, invest in CP going into 2025 and beyond. Rapidly growing market. UFC's getting behind CP. Anyway, let's move on. Next guy at welterweight, Jacoby Smith. Now, a little bit of an under-the-radar one here. Dude fought on the first card of the year. Was one of the only fucking undefeated fighters to actually not lose this year. So that was cool. What did he do? He KO'd Preston Parsons in like a minute flat, like 30 seconds flat. Beat him up, finished him easily. Before that, he looked great on Contender Series. He's not too young. If he was like 25, I would be like coming at you saying this dude's champion one day because he's just got athleticism beyond days, like for days, and he's got crazy power. Jacoby Smith, though, I still think he's definitely got top 15, top 10 potential, so keep an eye on him too. Let's move on. Middleweight. I don't like my middleweight selections, because fucking, bro, look at middleweight, that division's washed. Like, I could say Baralio, but I can't just say every single fighting nerd, and he's already, like, top 5 looking for a number 1 contender fight, so I am going to contradict myself here, but I'm going to Mavov, because I still think this dude's underrated, and I'm still seeing everyone just being like, Yeah, Strickland beats him in a rematch. Hamzat subs him in the first. Strickus would beat him easily. Baralio would beat him easily. And I'm like, bruv, this dude's got to be like the most underrated #1 ranked contender, like fighter in the UFC. Like, why are we not acting like KOing Izzy is impressive? Like, I know Izzy's on a bit of a skid, but like he hasn't been just like rocked bad and just put away. Like Strickland dropped him with like the cleanest shot that Strickland has ever landed in his life. Alright, that is the most power Strickland has ever applied to someone's chin, and it dropped Izzy to his knees for like a second. Amavov finished him. Amavov's got pop, he's got grappling, he's good, bro. I don't know why people are acting like Amavov's just some other random dude. Like, this guy's really fucking good. So I'm going to put him, again, I'm sorry, middleweight is ass. Like, there's no one good. My next selection's fucking Mansour Abdul Malik. Just because this goofball, this doofus, who looked mid as fuck against Nick Klein. I've got to fucking select him for this video. Just because there's no one at middleweight. Like, I was genuinely, like, borderline going Abbas Magomedov before I checked and saw that he was 34. Bruh. Like, what the fuck? Like, Reina Derrida. I'm not saying invest in Bo Nickel. That's bullshit. That's like investing in Bitcoin at like 150 grand. Like, there's no point. It's either going to fucking go down and you're just not going to get your money back, or it's just too expensive. Like, what's the point? Like, everyone's saying, all the wrestling fucking wannabe hardcores, all the DCs and shit, they're all saying, Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's fucking mid. RDR's actually a good choice, but RDR's like about to turn 35, so I can't say invest in a 35-year-old. But like, what do we got? Bruno Ferreira? Nasultan Ruzaboev, bro? Like, what? Edmund Shabazi? Like, who am I? Ikram Aliskerov, I guess, is the only other guy you could say and be like, oh, maybe he turns around and looks good. Like, there's no one in this division that's like up and coming. The top of the division's awesome right now. Baralio, Amavov, Hamzat, Fluffy, all these guys coming up. Sick. The outside, there is no more. We've got everyone here now. And then we got like Pfeiffer, maybe. And we got Bo Nickel, maybe. And like Kopolov. But even them, like these guys are all mid-30s. Like middleweight does not have a good future unless we can get some more guys off Contender Series. Anyway, Mansour Dumalik, as I said, he looked mid as fuck. But I'm just relying on athleticism. And I'm just relying on like rapid improvements, because he looks like an absolute doofus. Like, he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, but he's athletic as fuck. So he should be able to like, just being an athletic human is a good base for MMA. You can work on that. Light heavyweight though, Zhang Mingyang. Zhang Mingyang's the first guy I've gone with here. Mingyang Zhang, the Mountain Tiger. He's going to KO Anthony Smith. If you're not on the Mingyang madness train, you should be. Again, I do think he could get fraud checked at some point. But he's young. He's got experience though. Look at this dude's record. He's like 26 with that many fights. Like, great. He's on some Song Yudong level shit. Like, the amount of fights he's got. Even more, maybe, by this point of his career. But, yeah, Mingyang Zhang, crazy activity, crazy power. KO'd Ozzy Diaz, who took some shots off Jordan Santos and didn't get put away. So that's not a bad look, you know. But, yeah, shout out to Mingyang Zhang. He's going to sleep, Lionheart. Anyway, next up, Umar Sy. Now, Umar Sy, yes, he looked a little bit mid against Dawoon Jung. I still think he looked good, and I still think he's got potential. Again, give a man an 83-inch reach, and give him who already knows how to shoot takedowns and grapple, and just teach him a jab. Teach him a jab and a low kick, and he's just going to beat half the division with that alone. Like, I'm serious. This dude, Umar Sy, disappointed because he pulled out of a fight with Alonzo Menefeld, which I thought he was going to win and look really good in. And looking at how shit Alonzo looked against Julius Walker, I maintain Sy would have whooped his ass. Sy, I think his striking's not as bad as, like, I think people thought he looked mid. I went back and rewatched that fight. He actually rocked Dawoon Jung. Like, when he actually, like, commits to his punches and throws with technique, he's actually got a good jab. And he's got takedowns. So, yeah, invest in Umar Sy. This is a real, like, buy low spot. Not that many people talking about this dude. Everyone's talking about Mingyang Zhang as the guy at light heavyweight. Everyone was talking about fucking Ibo Aslan, the bomb. Let me tell you got to invest in Umar Sy. You know, invest in the African French market. You know, the Africa FC, the new invest in the new modern day Frenchman. You know, I'm talking Fares Siam. I'm talking Umar Sy. These are the guys you got to be going for. Anyway, heavyweight division. Let's go, and we'll start off with Walter Walker. Walter Walker, give me any heavyweight who knows how to get heel hooks and can grapple. You'll make top 10. Like, minorly athletic and knows how to grapple and get submissions. Yeah, top 10 fighter. I've seen enough. And then last up, we got Talison Teixeira. Already ranked, by the way, after one win over Justin Tafa. Another guy you could put in, Mario Pinto. You could put him in here. He just looked a bit mid early, but give me one more great Pinto. Like, give me a round 1 Pinto KO, and I'll put him on here. Kennedy Nzechukwu, another guy at heavyweight. Ryan Spann this weekend. These are like light heavyweights that you got to invest in at heavyweight moving up. But yeah, these are the fighters that you need to invest in. I'm talking CP. I'm talking Joshua Van. I'm talking Mauricio Rufy, Joel Alvarez. These are the guys who you need to tell your casual friends about. You go to the gym and be like, mate, you got to watch this guy's fighting in a few weeks. Let me tell you. I told there's this guy I do Muay Thai with. A little short dude, built like Josh Van, right? Pro fight, like he's done some pro fights and stuff. He's a good mate of mine. And like last year, I'm talking like this was going into I want to say, which fight? Going into the Edgar Shires fight. And I say, he lost his last fight. I'll give you a heads up. But this dude's sick. He strikes like you, and that's all he needed to hear. He's like, I'll watch his fight. He came back to me next day after the Edgar Shires fight. He's like, bro, you're right. This dude's sick. He strikes like pure Muay Thai, right? Like, that's what you got to do. You tell your friends that don't watch too much UFC. You let them know. They go back. They watch them. They'll be like, hey, I told you, bro. And they'll be like, hey, good stuff, man. So these are the guys you need to invest in. Let me know who I missed in the comments. I'm sure there's some other fighters that I missed. But yeah, drop some more video ideas in the comments so I can stop running out of content ideas and redoing videos. But anyway, goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.